Welcome back to another video here on Madden 24. I wanted to see the difference between very hard and very easy trading. As of right now, just the base trading in the game is already pretty damn tough. You can't usually get many decent players or even draft picks for fair real-life value. So on very hard, I honestly wonder if like a 60 overall is even going to be possible to get. So I just went to the first team I seen, which was the Chicago Bears. Khalil Herbert, a second-round pick. Okay, so a second-round pick is something that's still okay. Maybe I went a little too crazy early. Okay, it appears that we have scammed ourselves because they will not give it back. So Damien Harris is kind of a similar player, similar overall, similar age, similar dev. A third round pick didn't get it done. Let's try the second round pick now. And it's very close. So a second round pick for Damien Harris. Let's move it on to very easy and see the difference between those two. And now we're on very easy. A sixth wouldn't do it. A seventh wouldn't do it. A fifth wouldn't do it. Now a fourth wouldn't do it. At this point, is it even really that much of a difference? A third does it. It goes from mid-red to full green on a third. A second was kind of close, so I don't know if one round different is really the difference between very hard and very easy. Those seem vastly different, yet only one round. And of course, after you go from, Khalil Herbert and Damien Harris, you go straight to Patrick Mahomes, as you do, obviously. I put it on normal because I wanted to see, for one, if it was even possible. Get out of here, Jair. No trade packages available, but that could just be EA getting a little funky. So we're going to try our three best players for Patrick Mahomes. It's about a red, so I'm going to be honest with you. There's really no point in checking if they would do it on very hard, because we're not going to get that trade, let's be honest. So we can see that on normal, it is, not really happening. Of course, it doesn't help that it seems like they don't want any of those players, which I'm not sure why. They're actually pretty mid to weak in all three of those. And we can see without the draft picks that on very easy, it seems like we could do something to get him. But once again, not really seeing the difference that we were hoping to see as, once again, normal. I mean, even normal, to be fair. But it is doable. And that's on normal. So obviously, on very hard, maybe there would have been a big difference. But we ended up getting Patrick Mahomes for Jair Alexander, Bakhtiari, Rashawn Gary, a first this, a first next, and a second next. Or a second this. But which, to be fair, I mean, Mahomes probably, honestly, even goes for more than that in real life. I would love to just see the Chiefs. So they're like, you know what? We're sick of winning. We don't want to win Super Bowl anymore. Let's just trade him, see what we can get. Like, what would even be the offer for a Mahomes? 3 premier young players and like 10 first-round picks? I don't even know. There's also apparently no trade packages for Mahomes. Teams are just like, you know what? We're not even going to bother. We know the answer. You're not going to take it. But why not? Like, why not? So it does at least seem that the trade finder or the hard or very easy difficulty does actually physically work, because obviously we went from having 0 offers on very easy because I would have just assumed that because the trades are so easy, there just wasn't even close to value for Mahomes. But on very hard, teams are like, here's Keenan Allen and a 7th round pick. If you don't take it, you're just a loser. It's like, okay, I guess. The trades are pretty decent, 3 first round picks, Terry McLaurin, that's not bad. But I am curious to see if we can just completely drain a team that has like super beastly players, even on very hard. So I think the moral of the story in this one is Mahomes is just him, right? Mahomes is just him. Let's see what we can do. Is there a team with like a really good quarterback and other good pieces? Don't really think there's going to be a team that even has that level, though. Or let's see if this is possible. This should be nowhere near completable, yet it kind of is. Mahomes is a freak, dude. This is on very hard. This is very hard. We're getting Joe Burrow, who is similar in ratings, Jamar Chase, who is insane, T. Higgins is a superstar now, and 3 first-round picks. Now, obviously, we're not actually getting that at this point in time, but if we take away the 3 first-round picks, can we get it? Okay, so those 3 first-round picks played, like, no factor at all. I'm starting to think that maybe we wouldn't get this trade. Aaron Jones involved. I don't know how much that would change. This is such a big dog trade that even when you're adding these crazy pieces, it doesn't really change anything. So, like, I really wonder how actually close this trade is. Like, would this just be a, like, Mahomes for Burrow? Will they even let this happen? So they do let it happen even on very hard, which is something. Now, I kind of want to go and say, you know what, we kind of maybe made a mistake. You want to just, like, make a make a quick fix of that error real quick, you know? And it would appear the Bengals have been waiting for some team to make a crazy trade with the Chiefs to get Mahomes, and then Mahomes to get traded over to Joe Burrow and then never give the player back. And their whole scheme of sitting back and waiting for that to happen has fully worked. We have been shafted. Now let's see, with that being middle red, if it can be done on very easy. And on very easy it goes. So kind of significant, actually. You know, from going from middle trade to like probably not actually happening to actually getting the trade. I would say, it's hard to tell because each trade seems to be individual, but as far as when looking at, you know, what we've done so far, it seems like it's like a whole round different. But with the player trades, I don't know. This one's kind of up in the air, so I kind of want to redo this back on very hard, and see how close it actually was. So we go for Burrow, you know, we try to go for Mahomes with it on very hard like it was before, and see the difference in value. Now I'm kind of wishing I still had my my draft picks for this year. We can see a second is doing nothing. It is a next year second, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I'm just going to go kind of crazy and just throw all of this on here. And it's not so... It is very up in the air. You know, we seen the trade for Damian Harris that was like maybe a round different, but he is like a lower overall. So there is levels to this trade slider. Okay, this is... I mean, I'm trying to think of how I would get around this. Because right now, it's not very, like, linear, if you will. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a certain value added on. It is per player. As you can see, we got it on very easy, yet here with very hard, it's not even close. And obviously, when you compare it to the Damian Harris trade thing, we only had to go up one round, or one round back, if you will, technically, if you're going in reverse. But here, Mahomes is literally untradeable. But so let's see Joe Burrow for Herbert. So that does go. Very hard is very hard, but it's still, you know, to the point where it's like, okay, well, it's still Joe Burrow, and Herbert's not on his level with that overall in dev. What about Herbert for Trevor Lawrence? That also goes. It's a little strange because it is 5 overalls, I get it, but they're both the same, pretty much the same age, pretty much the same dev. Not even pretty much, they are the same dev. Man, I'm trying to like really figure out kind of a basis, and I can't find one. I really can. And quarterback's one of the toughest positions to trade for in the game. Although I have seen like different positions go for like next to nothing. Like Sam Howell in my recent Commanders rebuild. Go check that out. I tried to trade him off for like a 4th round pick. They wouldn't take it. And he had like all 80s, decent throw power, young, even though he's normal. It was a little confusing. So, I mean, it threw me off a little bit. But you can see here that the obvious trade still goes. Bryce Young is superstar, but I don't imagine that's still fair. What about Rodgers? He's 39. This should easily go, right? So it's very close. The age probably plays a big factor. But if we try to get Herbert back from a trailing position here, it's not even half again. So now we're going up in overall, but lower dev, and it seems like maybe a lot of it is overall, maybe? Let's go for someone that's like low 80s, slightly below Lawrence. What about Kyler Murray? Like, this should easily go, obviously. Okay, I mean, I'm not really even sure what I'm doing here. I don't even know what that did for me. But honestly, so far, what I can suggest, I keep clicking everything wrong because I'm so dumb. But I think what I could suggest is that doing the trades for different players, actually the slider makes a lot of sense. I think on normal, if you're living in a realm where you're thinking, okay, everyone's tradable, I just need to give them fair value, putting it on very easy actually does allow you to do that. As you can see, we still got the players, but it was still a lucrative trade. Whereas, like, if a team was going to trade Mahomes, he hates the team, he's not playing there again, he has to be traded. The value that we gave for him was very fair. Very fair. So, at the end of the day, I think you want to use very easy more for those big lucrative trades, your Mahomes, your Burrows, maybe Jamar Chase and all that. And then for the lower end, you want to do that for draft picks, I think. In the past, it just seems like the draft picks, the values aren't really fair. Very easy. Doesn't really even seem that crazy, though, like I said. We got Damian Harris for a 3rd round pick. I mean, in real life, Damian Harris doesn't even go for like probably a 6th round pick. Not that he's a bad player, but it's just the running back position in general. But, yeah, I mean, that's interesting to see that the slider works, at least. That's a good thing. It's also interesting to see the Trade Finder just actually has the straight-up quarterback on the list. That is something I did not expect to see. So we have it on very hard for Tyler Huntley. This isn't terrible, though. 4th round next year even. A 7th round this and a 7th next year. Savage is a little bit pushing it because he's a decent dev player and he's fast, but very fair stuff. I'm also trying to figure out how this trade is worth more than this or equal to this. I get it's the 6th, but a whole extra year to wait for that 4th round pick. The 6th, like, basically cancels out the 7ths, yet the 4th is a whole year later. And I get Tyler Badgett for a 5th round pick. I think the lower overalls, the difficulty is just like, who cares? It's not going to happen. But the very high, I think that's what you want to use the slider on. Like I said, I think you want it to be on very easy when you're trying to go for your Burrows, your Mahomes, and all that, because it'll allow you to give a real-life value, whereas you're just not normally going to be able to get those guys. So this trade slider, while it's not perfect, this difficulty slider is not perfect, like I said, it at least makes those super insanely good high players tradable. And then to compare the, what is it called? The trade finder from Very Hard. Very Easy has it where basically that 4th round's removed. You know, you see the 5th and the 7th. That's multiple years in the future, though. A 6th and a 7th year. So basically the 4th round is removed at this point. Once again, I don't know how I would, like, kind of put a value on what the trade finder does exactly, like, you know, the difficulty wise anyways, does exactly, because it just varies so much. But it definitely changes it, right? A 6th and a 7th for a guy that was asking, you know, they were asking for like a 4th and a 6th. So it is better. I don't know, it's hard to tell, but Very Easy, I think when you're trading for players, isn't the worst thing to have on. You know, when I first saw the trade difficulty slider, I was like, uh-oh, things are getting crazy here. But honestly, when you compare to real life, it might actually make the most sense besides draft pick trades. I think draft pick trades are going to be not real, so you always want a normal, maybe easy. But for the player trades, I think Very Easy actually makes a lot of sense in like probably 90% of the trades. But let's actually see the difference between, you know, let's say I only have one 4th round pick remaining. We do have to go into the future for this, I believe, anyways. Actually, no, we don't. So can we get a 2nd round pick for a 4th round pick? We cannot. I did not mean to do that either. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, now I'm going to the future. I hate the freaking delay, dude. Please fix that. That's like all I asked for. So let's go to the 3rd round now. So we're going from 111 to 65. It's definitely moving. It's moving. It's wiggling. So can we do our 2/4 for their 2/4? So it does definitely change it. So like I said, easy maybe for draft picks. Definitely not on Very Easy. But for players, maybe Very Easy is not the worst thing to do. I'm, you know, for rebuilds, probably going to stick with normal. But we've seen in this trade thing that Very Easy, for the most part, actually gives you pretty realistic trade value for players in real life. You know, trading Mahomes is literally, or trading for him is literally impossible. But if he were to be traded in real life, you know, 2 to 3 superstar players with 3 first-round picks would probably be where he stands. But in-game, they're just like, nah, can't have him. Which, I mean, I guess makes sense too. But there's other players that you would see as untradeable in real life, yet you can trade for them. You know, like Justin Herbert or even Trevor Lawrence at this rate. So that's basically what I got from this. Very Easy is good for trades of players. Very Hard is bad in general. There's not really much use for Very Hard, but normal dev for trading player or draft picks, and then Very Easy for players. That's basically that, though. If you guys have any other like kind of questions, maybe we can debunk or look into in the game. You know, different mechanics like the draft strength thing, or maybe the regression sliders and all that. Let me know in the comment section below. And that is about it. Thanks for watching. Hope the guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!